I want to welcome you to the Pantheon. I'm your host, Ray, and today we're looking at Prey, a 2022 film exclusively on Hulu. Dan Trachtenberg, who wrote and directed this movie, did an amazing job, like without a doubt. I had low hanging fruit for this movie, and this surprised me, considering the movie takes place 300 years ago in the Great Plains. So it was the Comanche Indians, and you have a character named Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, who I remember as Carrie in the series Legion, a series that Evie and I reviewed not too long ago. She played like a warrior type character, a person who can hold her own. Here, Naru is like a medicine woman who is skilled in the herbal sciences, like natural sciences of earth and stuff like that. And her brother, Tabe, played by Dakota Beavers, amazing actor in this one. I want to see more of him. I'm so impressed by his performance. Uh, Anyways, their father was the war chief. He passes away, so she and her brother are only have their mother, and this is 300 years ago. So basically, women don't have much rights. So this is not very. It's a male dominated world. The brother understands her position because he's seen her, how smart she is, how fierce she is, and how strong she is. And her father trained both his children how to hunt, how to fight, how to do things. And one of the major events in terms of becoming a war chief or becoming a leader is that you're going out to fight something that's hunting you too. But in normal lore, normal like Comanche lore, you go after like a tiger or a lion, or sorry, a lion or a bear, because these are apex predators. And if you can hunt something that's hunting you, you've proven yourself as being a warrior. And Tabe goes out. He's able to go after it. I think it was a lion and bring it home. And whereas she was trying to do it, she failed. So there's a lot of stuff that goes in terms of the rituals of a hunter, something that's very reflective of what the predator is a hunter. What makes this movie really interesting, I'm to the point of this, is that um, there's a connection between Schwarzenegger's character and here, and there's a connection between more connection with the ending of the second movie with the pistol and the person who hands that pistol to Danny Glover's character, because that character is actually in this movie, and it's also a graphic novel, and that kind of explores that a little bit. But if you didn't know about that little Easter egg and how the cow connects, it's very like so. So if you're a fan of the old school, the OG of Predator, you're rewarded in the sense that there are throwbacks and acknowledges of the past, certain lines, certain things where it's like Predator, where it's like you got to outsmart the Predator, and and its thermal vision is it's one of the key elements of what makes a Predator a Predator. And the weaponry the Web Predator has a little more. It's 300 years ago. It's a little more primitive, but yet still high tech. He still has a laser pointer, tracking system, or guidance system, and it's really cool. But he has projectile weapons instead of like lasers. Yet his net that kind of squeezes you and kills you is still there. It's really awesome. Um, in general, it's a very cerebral film. It's understand it's kind of has a little bit of art of war, like knowing your surroundings and using against you. Um, there is a sequence where the actual animals, the CG, okay, not the best, but the predator is a hunter, and the idea of him going to a planet is that he goes after the apex predator of that land or of that planet, and each day he goes after a different type of apex predator. If it's going to be the snake or the bear or the lion or man, and you're seeing how it works because you have the fly and the frog and the snake, or you get the fox and the rabbit, and you're seeing how one eats the other. Like what is the top tier predator, and then the predator goes after the top tier hunter. What's interesting is that a snake, in this case a rattlesnake, it sees thermal vision, so it can see or sense the predators there, even though the predator is invisible. It is a predator itself that has the predator at a disadvantage in terms of like his skill set. And that's kind of interesting how that, though it's not verbally expressed to you, uh, the rattlesnake knows a predator is there because the tail goes off. What happens is something else, but it's really cool because you're seeing how the rattlesnake goes after its prey, and you're seeing how a fox faces the rabbit, and you're seeing how the evolution of animals exist and how each one has its own predator. Like a fly will have a frog, the frog will have a snake, or like every animal has an enemy that goes after it, like until you get to the top of the food chain, and then which has no enemy, and that's what the predator seeks out. So it sits there and each day looks at how the eco cycle works, and he goes after the one that's the top of the food chain and challenges that one each day, and then eventually he gets to man, and then there's a sequence where man, which is French explorers, because the Great Plains, they're skinning a herd of bison. It's graphically violent, well, graphically disturbing in itself. And it kind of teaches you that there really is no difference between, well, no, that's not true. It sort of explains to you the harshness of reality of man. You hear about these people who go for ivory tusks, who go for pellets, who does these things for the sake of making money but kills these animals. Where you have a white hunter and a white hunter who eats everything about the animal, like eats the like when he kills, he eats everything. He uses everything about the animal. It goes and kills. It doesn't like waste it for just skill. It's not wasted for the idea of just for the thrill of the hunt. He respects the animals that he hunts or she hunts, and it respects nature. So you could say the predator is like an anti-hero. It goes after those who waste and who looks only for the spoils of what they conquer and get, and a lot of stuff like that. So it's sympathetic in some sense, but the character of Nabu, a Comanche woman who tries to best it and survive and do all these things, is amazing, well planned, well thought out on many levels. I wish I could. The thing is, I'm stopping and I'm pausing, and I'm thinking, and my eyes are rolling back and not looking directly at you. And I apologize. Is that the movie? As I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to think about how am I going to explain how impressive this movie is without giving away like how it's so good. Like Dakota Beaver, who plays Tabe, who is who becomes war chief to the Comanche clan after capturing the line. There's a scene where he and the Predator go one on one, and it's impressive. And Dakota Beavers, who plays Tabe, is a leading man character. Like his performance is incredible, and I wish I could talk more about the character and how he plays in this with his sister, how he plays with this tribe, and how he fits into the whole feel of the movie. Amber Midthunder, amazing movie. I mean, this whole movie is centered on her shoulders. She delivers this movie in spades. It is such an amazing, well thought out performance. Her motivations, the idea, her companionship with the dog, with her mother, with her brother, and how she thinks, her environment, like how she hunts and how she tracks and how she does all these things is truly an amazing thing to follow. It's interesting, it's compelling, and the hunter itself, predator, and how he hunts and sees the eco chain and who is the apex predator is impressive. And the sequences that they delivered to set up to the ultimate third act. The movie is really, really short. As it was, it's a period piece, but it really works well. There's so many things where it. I know in a lesser hands, this movie would have failed, but this what Dan Trachtenberg did to this movie, it is by far for 2022 one of the top 20 films of that year, because 2022 had a lot of good movies. This might even be like top 10 tier film. It is really that good. And I have nothing really negative to say about it, but it's really interesting. And also even the idea of having subtitles for the French explorers or the poachers, you don't get subtitles for them. So that you are kind of, if unless you speak French, you're not going to understand a lot of the language. But that was done intentionally, and to give you that sense of language barrier to understand certain characters. Worth a watch. And with that, I'm Ray, and I will talk to you later. Take care.